Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to September. When you see this, it is going to be September 1st, and it's hard to believe that we are at this point in the year already, and sad to say that we're still working our way through this pandemic. Glad to be with you again. I heard from a number of residents last week that they missed town hall, so obviously there's a bunch of you that tune in to hear the latest updates, and we have a lot to go over today. But we're lucky this afternoon that Jan Banker, our chaplain, has agreed to offer our prayer. So Jan, we'll start with you.
Hello, everybody. I'm glad to be with you. I have a reading to start us off with. It's from 1 Corinthians chapter 4, verses 9 through 10. My grace is sufficient for you, for power is made perfect in weakness. So I will boast all the more gladly of my weaknesses, so that the power of Christ may dwell in me. Therefore, I am content with weaknesses, hardships, and calamities for the sake of Christ. For whenever I am weak, then I am strong. Let's pray. O Lord, our Savior, in your amazing grace, we have everything we need. Help us lean on you, for we have weaknesses and vulnerabilities. And to be completely honest, this COVID-19 has gone on too long. We miss our usual adventure-packed daily activities, gathering together for worship without worries of germs, the ease of socializing with friends, and we especially miss visits and hugs with our families. Grant us perseverance and compassion, and help us keep this calamity and our anxiety in perspective, since some bear many more burdens and loss from this than we ever will. May your power for resilience and love that bears all things dwell in us and among us, as we scatter the fruits of the Spirit, for the world could use some kindness, peace, and generosity in this difficult time. Each day transform our vulnerabilities into strengths and mix them into a healing balm for the world you so love. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Thank you, Jan. Well, we will continue on as we usually do, and we will go right ahead with Steve. And maybe the voice? Whoop, there
The
it is.
voice is here. Yes. Well, how are you today? I am great. I've discovered how to solve all the problems of the world.
Yay.
You've discovered how to solve all the problems of the world. Well, that's rather interesting. I'd be interested in knowing about it. What are you going to do? It's called Monday morning quarterbacking. Monday morning quarterbacking. Well, I know about that from football fans. I mean, you know, they talk about the game afterwards. Yes, and they all know all the mistakes, and they know how to do it and win next time. So why don't we do that? Well, I'm not sure I quite understand how to set that up. It's all easy. We just live life backwards. We'd start each Monday and examine all the things, how the mistakes and everything and the complaints, and we'd do it better. And so then at the end of the next week, we'd be perfect. Wouldn't that be great? Oh, am I smart, you know? Well, I mean, that's a pretty interesting idea. You just want to live the life backwards. It's sort of like 2020 vision. Oh, then he's going to pray, put scripture on the, I don't know. No. Well, I mean, that's right. Imagine the whole world looking a week backwards and living justly and loving kindness and walking with some humility. Wouldn't that be great? You know, I wonder why someone else didn't think about that. All right, smart guy. Yes, I did think about it. But you know why we don't do it? It's because we don't look back on them doing it. You wonder sometimes, do you think God is a Monday morning quarterbacker? Well, I understand he's always calling people to repent, and that means turn around, and they can look backwards and do it right. Well, all right, we'll work on seeing how we could live life backwards from now on. Thank you for bringing that great idea to us. It's okay. Now I'm going to introduce the star of the show. Here's Lynn.
Thank you, voice. And You might have something there. I can think about going backwards quite a few years. I'd be younger.
Yeah.
I'd have a little bit more spring in my step. I'll be a few pounds lighter. Things might be really great if I turn around and go back that way.
There you go. And
But
you
I'm
wouldn't make the
also-
mistakes.
I'm also very grateful for where I am right now.
Absolutely.
Right now, we're going to have an announcement from Ashley Wilco.
Yeah, that's right.
Good afternoon, Westminster Shores. As I mentioned in our What's Happening chat Monday morning, I told you I would be announcing the winners of the Capture the Flag game. So thank you all to those who participated. An extra thank you to you all again, so you didn't make me and Lee go out and find all the flags that were hidden. You saved us some time finding all the flags.
All right.
So way to go. So I'm here to announce the top 3 areas in the community that found the flags, and the winner will receive a drive-by pizza party September 10th, so next Thursday. So the way that we counted is we counted the flags that were found for each building or area, and we averaged it out between how many residents live in that area. So it equals out fairly for everybody. So in 3rd place, Bahama Place residents.
All right.
Way to go. Woo! 2nd place, Little Bayou residents.
Yeah.
And the winners of the drive-by pizza party are the residents who live in the single-family homes. So way to go. Congratulations. And
It's longer to drive that way.
So this Thursday, you'll get a little menu in your in-house boxes that you'll be able to select what type of pizza and soda or beverage you like, and you'll have to return it to me so we can make sure we have the selected pizza and soda for you. So congratulations. Thank you for participating. I heard great feedback from it, so I hope to do it again for you all.
Great.
Yay.
All right.
All
Have a
right.
great
Thank
day.
you.
Wow, congratulations to the winners. I guess we'll be really driving by with pizza, won't we?
Can we visit those houses that are winners?
If they share. That's great, thank you. Well, we try to have a special guest, if not every town hall, every few town halls. And this time we've asked Liliana from our therapy department. In case you don't know, we have the best therapy department anywhere.
That's right.
Anywhere. We have the best therapist, and our lead therapist is Liliana, so she's going to be here. In case some of you don't know about the services and things that can be done in therapy, Liliana is going to go over it all for you. Liliana, yay!
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. It's a pleasure for me to be here today and talk to you about everything that we do in therapy. We had physical therapy and we also have occupational therapy here in campus. Many of you don't know the difference between one discipline and the other. I'm a physical therapist and I have been here in this facility forever. I have been here for 23 years.
Wow.
And it has truly been a pleasure working here. And what I do is I work with people in different areas. I work with people that have balance problems. So if you feel that your balance is you're unsteady and that you're a high risk for falls, you can consult with me and we will be very happy to see you. I also work for people that have vertigo problems. So if you're getting dizzy when you're getting out of bed or when you're standing and you feel the whole world spinning, I also treat people with vertigo. If you have Parkinson's and specialize in Parkinson's, I have a Parkinson's certification for something that is called the Big and Loud program. So you're welcome to consult with me, get a doctor's order, and we'll be happy to see you for that special program. If you have a lot of weakness or your endurance is very poor, then I definitely will be able to help you with that, to get you stronger, get your endurance going so you can walk better, your balance can get better, you can move around and do the things that you enjoy it. And we have occupational therapy. Occupational therapy, they work more with activities of daily living, like teaching you, let's say you went to the hospital, you came back home and you're very weak and you're having a hard time getting dressed. They will help you, show you different strategies to be able to get dressed safely and without spending a lot of energy. They will show you also how to take a shower without hurting yourself and safely. Occupational therapy also works a lot with the upper extremities, which means shoulders, elbows, hands. So if you notice that you're having a hard time writing, that you're having a hard time cutting your meat or eating or opening containers, either because you're very weak or because your small joints are hurting, Leah will be the person. Leah has been a therapist with us in our now in our facility. She has been like 2 years. In our organization, she has been 11 years. She's an amazing therapist that will be able to help you too. We also have a rehab tech that you probably have seen her a lot. When you call the therapy department, you talk to her. Her name is Linda. She's our right hand and left hand. She helps us a lot with the paperwork and calling the doctors and sending the fax and all of that. So if you stop by the therapy room and you can talk with any of us about any concerns that you have, we can do a free screening. So screenings are free. If you need an evaluation or you need treatment, obviously we need a doctor's prescription. We have contract, we can bill Medicare, but we also have a contract with home health company. So if you're homebound and you do not drive and you cannot leave your house because you're not feeling well at all, then we can see you in your home through a home health company, either Hygia or Bon Secours. We have contract with either or, and we will be able to provide the physical therapy and the occupational therapy as well. If you have managed care insurance and you're homebound, we are able to see you through home health. Unfortunately, for the outpatient, we do not have a contract with any of the managed cares, any of the HMOs, or any of the PPOs. So we won't be able to see you as an outpatient unless obviously you want to pay privately. That's another alternative. But that's pretty much like in a small summary of what we do in therapy. If you have any questions or just not sure if there's anything that I can do for you because I didn't cover it today, please feel free to call me and I'll be very happy to talk to you and tell you what to do and how we can help you.
Liliana,
Yes.
I had a question posed to me actually this morning, saying that they had been in the past, before all this pandemic, gone over to check on their balance. They see, that machine you have and stuff. Can they do that now without a doctor's prescription? Can they make a?
We can do a screening. That's part of the screening. If they have balance issues, they just have to call us and we have to make an appointment.
Okay.
Yes, we'll be very happy to do a screening with our state-of-the-art machine. It's called BioDesk Balance Machine that will tell me how your equilibrium reactions are and how quick your brain is to send the commands. And that can give us some idea of what's going on with your balance. We do free screenings. If I feel that you do very poorly in that screen and that you definitely need intervention, then we will recommend an order and we will do a thorough evaluation and treatment.
Okay, one other question. When you mentioned, you said, you can stop over and talk to us, but I'm assuming during this, you'd rather have them call you, right?
I am so glad you clarified that, yes. We were so used to people stop by.
Yeah.
And we live in a different world. Yes, you actually do have to call and let us know because if we're with patients, we have to keep the distance and all the stuff. So yes, call us and we set up an appointment, and screenings take 5 minutes because obviously we're not doing a thorough evaluation. It's just screen to see if you need services or not.
Great, thank you.
Something that I didn't cover that I'm seeing lately a lot is people that have back pain. For some reason, in the past 2 months, I have seen so many people with back pain and cervical pain. So that is something else that we treat in our therapy department. Any kind of pain in any joint in your body, we treat.
And she does a great job because she's actually treated me, and I'm still here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for your time and for listening to me. Have a great day.
Thank you, Lillian.
Wow, thank you, Liliana.
My
Appreciate
pleasure.
that.
My pleasure.
I don't know if some of you realize what a great physical and occupational therapy department we have here. We are very, very, very blessed to have the therapists that we do have. And I think some of you might not realize that through COVID, you might have been sitting a lot more, and that's not a great thing. So they say sitting is the next thing like smoking. So you really need to get up, you need to move, and if you're finding you have issues with that, you're a little slower, you're a little more wobblier, like she said, you might be dizzy with that vertigo, or catching yourself because you're having some balance issues, call and they'll do a free screening, and they will make you stronger without a doubt, and they will help you with all those joint issues. They're amazing folks. So please make sure that you take advantage, because it's right here at the Shores. You don't have to go anywhere, and they'll probably come and see you. Okay.
Great.
Thank you. All right. Well, usually I have a couple of announcements. I have a lot of couples of announcements to do today. So here we go. First of all, I want to let you know that we are COVID-free here at the Shores. What a blessing that is to be able to report it. And I'm on calls with all the other communities twice a week. And I am very proud to present that we at the Shores are COVID-free, residents and staff. Our staff is in the 2-week testing cycle, and we will be tested again on Thursday this week. So we continue to work on being COVID-free. I know our staff is very careful when they're outside of here so that they don't bring any illness back here to our residents and their coworkers. But just know that you can boast that we at the Shores are COVID-free. That's a great thing. I wanted to say thank you to all the volunteers that we do have on our campus. We have a lot of people who volunteer right here, as well as a lot of people who go off the campus to volunteer. I know probably some of you have not been as active volunteers just because of everything shutting down and because of the COVID situation. But I hope you enjoyed the special volunteer breakfast that was brought to you last week. I know Ashley and Mark and our volunteer committee worked hard on making sure that you were all recognized for your volunteer service. And honestly, we couldn't do it without volunteers. We just couldn't do it here at the Shores without you. So thank you very much to all of our volunteers, and keep it up. I also want to thank you for your patience and your understanding, because I know I have to repeat some things over and over. And I referred to it last time as sounding like a broken record, and I guess I come across that way sometimes, but we all need reminders, and these are gentle reminders to you of some of the things that are going on here, or some of the things that I think are important enough that I have to repeat. So thanks for your understanding and your patience with that. COVID certainly has impacted the Shores as well as the world. So there are some updates of things that COVID has impacted here at the Shores that I wanted to let you know about. Last week, or I guess it was 2 weeks ago now, I reported that residents who travel, independent living residents who travel outside of the community of Westminster Shores, they have some restrictions when they come back. I wanted to make it clear that if you travel outside of the Shores for a night or months and you come back, if you are traveling only within the state of Florida and you have no symptoms when you return, I'm going to repeat that. If you travel within the state of Florida and you return to the Shores and have no symptoms of COVID, you will not be on quarantine. So that gives people a little bit more freedom of movement and freedom of restrictions when they return. Also, if you travel outside of the state of Florida, and once again you come back to the Shores and you have no symptoms, you will have to quarantine but this time it's only 5 days instead of the 14 days where we started several months ago. And you will have to, after 5 days, on day 6 or whenever after that, you must get tested and remain in quarantine until you get the negative results. So let me say that again. If you are an independent living resident and you travel outside of the state of Florida, you return to the shores with no symptoms of COVID, you quarantine for 5 days. On day 6, you get a test, or whenever you can get a test, the doctor may have to order it, and you wait in quarantine until you get the negative results. So that's good news, because indeed we're not quarantining everybody for 14 days and then testing people. So it is a little bit more expedited, but I just wanted to make sure that I was clear and that you understood there's a difference between people traveling in Florida and people traveling outside of Florida.
And let me just interrupt to say,
Sure.
it has been clearly pointed out among those who are doing it that, you know, traveling down to Miami is a long way and over to Georgia is just a short way. And why does that make a difference? But those are the rules right now. We're subject to those rules. And so you don't even need to raise that problem. It's already been noted.
Right.
But it is, as she says, in the States one way, even across the border and back is another.
Right. And people have questioned me because they said, I could go to Miami, and Miami is full of COVID.
Right.
And why wouldn't I have to quarantine when I came back? Those are the rules, and that's what we're going by, like Steve said. So for right now, in-state rules and out-of-state rules.
Right.
So hope everybody got that. Second thing is the salon is open. Yay! Those of us who've had a haircut or got the snow removed off of their roof, it's a great thing that our salon is open. So please take advantage of that and call and make an appointment. More good news on the salon. Last week we learned that if our salon staff, and they get tested every 2 weeks like we do, and that would be Jennifer and Mari, as long as they remain negative, they are able to go to assisted living and do haircuts and styles over there,
That's great.
which is fabulous news because those folks have been all these months without having haircuts. So the great news for assisted living indeed is that as long as Mari and Jennifer remain negative with their COVID tests, they're able to go to assisted living. We will be setting up a place where in assisted living where residents will come to, and they will already have their hair washed, so all they'll need to have it cut and styled, and they'll feel like brand new people. That's great news for assisted living. Independent living visitation. There has been a pilot program that's been at Westminster Winter Park outside of Orlando, and they were the community that was selected to do the pilot program to have independent living visitors or visitors to independent living come onto the campus. I heard on the call just a short while ago that even though they tried this pilot, there were very few visitors. They only had less than 10 at one of our largest communities. So I think people are still remaining very cautious. They don't want to be welcoming people. There is a protocol, and we will be rolling that out here within the next week or two. Following the protocol, all visits will be outside. It will not be inside your home, your villa, or your apartment. They will be visits outside. We will have designated areas for those visits. It will be a shortened period of time, probably 20 to 30 minutes each, as well as when you are visiting, everyone must be in a mask. Everybody must maintain 6 feet social distance. There won't be hugging, I'm sorry to say. And it will be the residents' responsibility to make sure that whoever they have coming to visit them outside meets the CDC requirements. In other words, that they have not traveled, that they have not experienced COVID symptoms. We will have a protocol ready for everybody, and we have selected certain sites on the campus that we will set up as COVID visitation for independent living. And those will be in areas like the pergola, like the, I just lost it, the bocce court where the picnic table is. We may be bringing some extra chairs that are heavy and won't be blowing away if we get tropical winds. So there'll be a few places across the campus that will be designated for independent living visitors. And we hope to roll that out in the next week or two. So you'll be hearing more about that. But that's great news too. Another piece of restrictions that we've had because of COVID is we indeed stopped our transportation to essential doctor appointments or doctor appointments, period. We are going to be rolling that out in the next few weeks. It will involve our Health Resource Center, Randy, to determine what visits will be considered essential doctor or medical visits. And this will be only transportation to essential medical visits. Please know that right now we are down to one driver. As you all know, Jeff is real busy taking temperatures and also doing other things that we need him to do. So we're down one driver because you remember back in June, Marshall resigned. So we're a little bit strapped for drivers, but we're going to see how we can make this happen for our residents who don't have their own cars and not able to drive out to essential doctor and medical visits. That will be starting as soon as we can put that protocol in place. You'll get more information on that as well. People have asked me about group activities. Right now we have started with group activities that are really committee meetings. If that goes well in the next week or so, we will then open that up to small activity groups of less than 10 people with masks, being socially distant. So be on the lookout for that. We would like to open again for small group activities. All of these things are happening while indeed we expect that everyone is going to continue to be very cautious about how they go about their days, who they're in contact with, how they handle themselves, being washing hands all the time, keep their masks on, being distant. So we're cautiously optimistic, but as I said in the beginning, we are COVID-free and we want to remain COVID-free. So we ask everyone's cooperation and understanding with that. I had some residents that have shared with me their thoughts on protocols for opening up pickleball and bocce. I know those are greatly missed on this campus. And I did consult with our Vice President of Clinical Operations, and we are going to be working on that. We are still not saying yes today, you can go out and play bocce and pickleball. When we do roll out some precautions, roll out those two activities, they will be with restrictions as well. And actually one of the protocols that was shared with me by one of the residents, I've changed some of the things to make it a little bit more restrictive, but still we would be allowing the play. But until I give you the green light that we've approved these protocols, just hang in there for a little bit longer. And we thank you for your interest in those games, and we hope to be rolling them out soon with lots of safety precautions. At present, we have 2 people in the pool. I've had a couple at a time. And a couple residents have come to me and asked me if we could have more people in the pool. No, not at this time. At this time, we're going to stick with 2. There's residents who are saying that they have therapy and their doctors have prescribed pool activity. I checked with Lee, our fitness coordinator, and there are times on the pool schedule that are open that no one has signed up for. So please make sure that you're looking at the times. They may not be the exact times that you want, but there are times available on the pool schedule that they could accommodate some more residents. So please look at those first. before we open the pool up to any more people. Some other information to share, not specifically about COVID, but things that I thought you ought to know. First of all, Gary Hennis, who is our Chief Operating Officer for Westminster Communities of Florida, received an award last week at the conference that I attended virtually. And it's for the whole state of Florida, for our state organization, LeadingAge Florida, which is part of the national organization, LeadingAge. And he received the honor of the Distinguished Service Award. Quite the honor. Very proud and very pleased. What they mentioned when they gave him the award was that he was a leader in the state of Florida in putting out protocols, precautions, and restrictions for COVID. And that many of our fellow organizations, nonprofit, a lot of them faith-based, are COVID-free or have very minimal cases of COVID because of the recommendations that Gary helped to share. One of the reasons why we're COVID-free, and a lot of our communities in Westminster are COVID-free. So we're very happy to announce that about Gary Hennis. If you would like to share a card or a congratulatory comment, please share that with us, and we will be sending out cards and things to Gary within the next week or so. We're very proud. Another reminder is that there are no dogs or pets allowed on the second floor here at Bahama Place. That is because we serve food out of this floor, and it's against health department rules that we have animals roaming around. So I know there's some people that say that they have a support or service animal, and they have a card. Know that there are certifications for those, and not every one of them is legitimate. So please know that for right now, probably going forward, we are not honoring that dogs can be allowed on this floor. They can be brought into the building, and maybe a friend of yours can watch them downstairs as you come up to get your mail, or you visit the pop-up grocery store, or get your hair done or something, see the doctor. But really, only there's a certification for a service or a support animal that has to be in place. The pictorial directory has been updated on MyWLife as of last Friday. So if you're looking for new residents, and there are some new residents, please check the pictorial directory and reach out, give them a call, send them a card, let them know we're glad they're here, even though we all know it's the safest place to be, and glad that they joined us so that they can be amongst the safest people around. Hurricanes. As we all saw Hurricane Laura, do its damage last week, you have to know that every morning before my feet hit the floor getting out of bed, I have already looked at the Hurricane Center's website. I check it religiously several times a day, because right now we are considered to be in the weeks of the greatest hurricane threats. Know that I understand that this is a serious situation this year because of COVID, and because we can't do it the way that we've done an evacuation before. Know that if we hear of something that we consider a serious threat, we will be doing call-em-alls to let you know to put your evacuation plan in place and get moving. We encourage you also to be watching the news and the weather stations, and if you're feeling threatened by it, I would say go north and get out of the area and feel safe and comfortable. We again will be monitoring things, and we have things mostly in place, but of course, because of the situation with COVID, things are very different this year, and we're going to see how we can work best with our residents. So I just wanted to let you know that we do watch it. We do watch the storms that are coming across the Atlantic, and we will keep you posted as much as we can. The Sare System, what we call the Sare System, you might call it the emergency call system or whatever. It's a little black button. It's located in most of your bedrooms, and we ask that you push that between 5 a.m. and 10 a.m. every morning so that we know that you're up, you're moving, and that you're okay. We ask that when you push that button, you hold it for about 3 seconds just to make sure it's registered. There are sometimes people just push the button and they think it's registered, and maybe it didn't quite get registered. So if you can count to 3, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, and hold that button in between 5 a.m. and 10 a.m., then we will have it registered that you are up and okay, and our receptionist won't have to be calling everyone. We appreciate your help.
And I mentioned this before, but I just reemphasize, if, which I have done, you get up and you think you pushed it, but you get around and other things and you're busy and think, oh, did I push it? It's okay to push it twice or 3 times just to make sure it's been pushed. It doesn't cause any problems for anybody, and it creates less of a problem for the receptionist to have to call you. So push it 3 seconds, push it till the light goes out, really.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the key of it. But if you are wondering whether you did it, push it again.
And I know none of you have memory problems like I do. I have to make lists and have to double check myself all the time. So please, like Steve said, if you think, did I push that? Do it again.
Yep.
Do it again. It won't hurt anything. We have a request for prayers. Every Tuesday afternoon at 2 o'clock, we stop for a few minutes and say a prayer together across all the Westminster communities. And we've asked our chaplains and we've asked our residents, and we're asking again, if you would be so gracious to offer a prayer, you can submit it to Jan Banker, our chaplain, or submit it to me, and I will send it along to our Orlando offices. And they are always looking for prayers to be said on Tuesdays at 2 o'clock. So please help yourself, if you're so inclined, to write a prayer and share it with us. Thank you. I also have to thank you for your gifts and your donations to the foundation. At this time, we are in the midst of a Caring for Generations campaign, and that really takes care of our benevolent care. We have a few residents on our campus here that have benefited from over $100,000 in the last year from the benevolent care fund that comes from the Caring for Generations. So we appreciate your donations. You can certainly talk to Delynn Ravinius. She's in the foundation office. Also, we thank you for the gifts that you have given for the Mercy Fund. To date, we have had 204 staff members that have been affected by the coronavirus.
That's across the whole.
Across all of Westminster, not here. So we appreciate your kindness. And actually, on the call that I was on a short while ago, they mentioned that the number of staff being affected has also decreased. So way to go, Westminster. You're doing a great job, and we really appreciate those gifts that you've given us. Flu shots. Wow. Never has it been more important to get a flu shot. You don't want to be susceptible to COVID-19 and seasonal flu. You don't want to be in that position. It's a double whammy this year, and we encourage everyone, every resident and staff, to get the flu shot. Protect yourselves. We will be having a flu shot clinic here on September 24th and 25th. So you can certainly get your flu shot here. I also hear tell that you can go to Publix and get a $10 gift card if you get your flu shot there. So,
and I think Walgreens and CVS, I don't know about the $10 thing, but you can get it there.
Yes, you can get it at Walgreens and CVS as well. What we ask is if you get your shot elsewhere, that you bring the paperwork back so that we can track everybody who's had the flu shot. we're shooting for 100% of residents to get the flu shot, just so that you will not be susceptible to not only COVID-19, but also the effects of the seasonal flu. Could be very serious this year, and we want everyone protected. We have a project that's going to start early in September, which by the time you're watching this, it's going to be September. The pool equipment area for the new pool is a noisy piece of our campus, and it certainly has affected our residents in Bay Breeze. So we've been waiting for the permit to come back, which I'm told that has come back, and the pool equipment cover project should begin early in September. So we're going to be watching for that. We have had many plumbing issues on this campus lately. Plumbing issues are, we have breaks in pipes. Again, we had to close down today, Monday, Baynard's water system for a short while because of a plumbing issue. Some of our pipes here on this campus are pretty old, and they get kind of filled with all kinds of yucky gunk. But we're asking particularly that if you use the flushable sanitary wipes, that you don't throw them in the toilet. We are finding that when we go and find the clogs that are causing the plumbing issue, that a lot of them are, and this is across the campus, this isn't just one area, this is across all Westminster Shores campus, that these flushable wipes, which they say means flushable, throw them down the toilet, are what's clogging up our pipes. So we ask you, if you're using flushable wipes, to please just dispose of them in your garbage rather than throwing them down the toilet, because they are causing serious plumbing problems, which are very expensive on this campus. So thank you for your help with that. The last piece I had on here was someone came to my office today and said, Lynn, there's a rumor out there that you told everyone that there's going to be an additional assessment, I assume that means additional fees, placed on every resident because of COVID. And they said, I said it on town hall. Well, I must have been sleep talking at that moment, because I don't recall saying that. And as far as I know, at this point in time, there is no additional assessment coming to you. I'm not saying it will never happen, because I don't know when this is going to be over. But for right now, there is no assessment being charged to residents.
I think that is exactly what happened. You said, as of now, there is none, and some people read it and said, therefore it's coming.
Oh, and I can't predict, but I have heard nothing about an additional assessment that's coming to you, or a fee, money per apartment or individual. I know nothing of that. If I do find out something, I will tell you. But as of now, there is no additional assessment coming. COVID is expensive, and we've had to do all kinds of other things, but it is not coming back to the residents in an assessment at this time. So rest easy and know that that's not on its way to you. I wanted to go over questions. You had a lot of questions in this 2-week period, so I'll quickly go through them. One that I don't have an answer to yet is about if Westminster Community supports the foundation's efforts with matching funds and those kind of things. The person writes that even a token contribution would be helpful, and I have asked this of our Vice President of the foundation, so I will get an answer and we'll get back to you about that one. I'm sorry I don't have an answer right now. Another one came on a really cute snowman paper.
Official form, huh?
Really cute snowman paper. When are we going to have transportation to doctors and dentists again? It is needed. Indeed, I shared earlier that we are looking at that protocol, We're a little strapped because we only have one driver right now, but we are going to see how we can implement that protocol. So hopefully it's coming soon. May we please have 4 people at the pool at one time? I mentioned before we're going to stick with 2 people at this time. Who knows? In a few weeks, we may change that if we remain COVID-free and we're starting to open up some of these other activities and we are still COVID-free, we may do that. But as of right now, we're going to stick with 2. Please clarify paragraph 4 and 5 in the letter that Gary Pennis sent on August 24th. Paragraph 4 states that they're currently working with the resident council chairs from each community in consultation with each community's medical director to develop a pilot program for outdoor visitation. Indeed, this is what I talked about a little while ago, that we will be implementing this protocol when we receive it here. The pilot project was done at Westminster Winter Park with very few people turning out, like I said, less than 10. But when we get this protocol, we've already identified the spots on our community where we'll encourage outdoor visitation, and we will follow the protocol, and we'll let you know more when we get that. Second thing was, as a reminder, all independent living residents are permitted to come and go from their communities as they wish, being very careful. Our practices will continue for screening all residents when they return. If you leave the community, we are asking you to come to the reception desk and complete the paperwork. There's a binder just for residents who leave to go to Publix or CVS or their doctor or whatever. So we ask that you come to the reception area and complete that paperwork.
Can I add another thing?
Sure.
The reason why that's important, even like, oh, I just ran down to CVS and come back, is if, we hope it never happens, but if you encountered somebody and were infected, if you signed in when you get back, then when it happens, they know immediately how to go figure out who to trace and how to get to protect us. So it's not, the reason is to keep record so that we know if you got it, we know where you went and how to do it.
Exactly. It's all for contact tracing purposes. That's critical on our campus because we are lucky. Here you're going to hear for the 50th time, because we're COVID-free, we want to stay that way. But if indeed one of our residents comes down with COVID, we want to know where you were so that we can not only take care of you, but we can contact that place and say our resident was only at X doctor's office or X CVS, so that they also know that they have COVID amongst their midst. And indeed, they asked about the quarantine. As I mentioned before, if you're only staying in Florida and you have no symptoms, there's no quarantine. If you go outside of Florida and you come back and have no symptoms, you quarantine 5 days, and indeed, then you get tested on day 6 or soon thereafter, and then stay in quarantine until you receive a negative result. So that's the answer. The question was about paragraphs 4 and 5, and they wanted clarification. Then we had folks asking about bocce and about pickleball, and they gave me their thoughts on how we ought to restrict activity even by opening those activities. And like I said, we're not talking yet about opening right now, but we are giving it serious consideration. There was a question about people who have been given prescriptions for pool exercises by their doctors and their therapists, and it's difficult to find spots available on the sign-up sheet for use of the pool. I did check with Lee. There is sign-ups available every day. Again, it might not be the perfect time for you, but please look for those open time slots because they are there every day. And right now, we are not going to open up for more than 2 people in the pool. Another question was, are our buses being serviced during the downtime so they will be in tip-top shape when we're needed again? I did check with Mark. Absolutely, they're driven every week. All the repairs have been done. They even asked if the shocks and the air conditioners have been fixed on the big bus. Yes, indeed, we're ready to roll as soon as we can. So We are taking care of our vehicles even though we're not driving a lot of people around. And then I had a question once again that went about, was concerned about people driving and those people who don't have cars. And are we going to be able to offer them transportation to medical appointments? And like I mentioned earlier, we are trying to open up that protocol. We need a driver to help Jeff out, but we will be going forward with that as soon as we can. And indeed, it will be for essential doctor appointments. It's not routine, but essential. And that we will get a protocol for as well. And the last question I had was, when can visits happen between Westminster communities, as in the Shores and Palms or the Shores and Suncoast? Indeed, right now, you can go and meet one of those people from another community outside the campus. We don't have visitors allowed on the campus. We're working on that protocol right now, like I talked about the outside visits. But we cannot have those visitors come and be in your apartment or your villa or your home. So when we find out that we can start those kind of visits, we will certainly let you know. The first step is to have the outside visitors. But like the letter from Gary said, that you certainly can leave the campus. If you want to meet somebody at a park somewhere, you can certainly do that. But we just can't have the mix of visitors between the campuses. It's also called, we don't want to spread infection. If there's an infection somewhere else, we don't want to bring it back to our residents at this community. So those are all the questions, a lot of them. But we thank you for having interest in our community. And I think, Steve, did you have anything else?
I just say I received in my lunch, when you know the little things they say, and it's actually very nice. It said, you know, if you see somebody frowning and you have a smile, share it with them. It'll be good for them and you. I did that.
Okay. And I heard one funny thing on the call that I was on today, made me giggle a little bit. And again, I appreciate everyone. There's so many residents who send me funny things. I share them with our leadership team. And I had a funny one from a resident very early this morning that certainly made me laugh out loud by myself in the office. But on the call today, I heard a little joke. And it was, and since it's September when you're watching this, and September is Humor Month, I figured I would share this joke with you. There's a man and he walks into a bar and he asks the bartender for 2 hurricanes and a Corona. And the bartender says, okay, that'll be 2020. There you go. All right, have a great week and we'll talk to you again next week. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.